About Japan, he wrote that the roofs of the royal palace are made of gold, doors and windows are decorated with gold, and most floors are gold-plated. Thus, he exaggerated the wealth of China and its Mongol ruler Kublai Khan, even to hyperbole. Though Marco Polo's travelogue was written at least 150 years earlier, but in the poor condition of Europeans, Polo's travelogue was the only ray of hope. This travelogue of Marco Polo inspired the European youth that they must find a way to reach China and Japan and get the riches, the stories Marco Polo had peppered with. But the problem was that the land route was now blocked by the Turks. Another route was across the Mediterranean Sea through Egypt. This route, too, was occupied by the Muslim Empire of the Mamluks. Throughout the Mediterranean Sea from Morocco to Egypt, Islamic states existed that attacked European merchant ships. Europe could find no safe passage from there either. Thus, Europe was in a way under the siege of Muslims. Adventurers like Bartolomeo Diaz found a route to reach Asia from around Africa. But this route was very long. A one-way route would take months to complete. Now the Europeans were at a loss as to take which route to Asia, which would be both in their interest and the shortest, so that they trade by reaching Asia through this route and end their poverty. In this desperation, a little-known Italian sailor came forward. He claimed to know the shortest route to China and Japan in Asia. In his opinion, this was a route that was straight across the Atlantic Ocean, and no major country could pose a threat to them in this way. It was a huge claim that could change the fate of Europeans. The claimant was a young Christopher Columbus. Columbus from Geneva, Italy, had spent most of his life at sea. Like others, he too was greatly impressed by the travelogues of Marco Polo. He claimed expertise in finding the way with the help of the sun, moon, and stars. At that time, educated people knew that the earth is round, and Columbus also believed the same. He thought the world is round, and if one travels directly from Europe to the west, one will reach Cipango, i.e. Japan, at a distance of 4,500 kilometers. The short route to Japan meant also finding China and then the whole of Asia. Columbus thought that finding Asia was like discovering a gold mine. Take as much gold as you want from anywhere and bring it to Europe. But Columbus's dream was not only gold and wealth, he also called himself Christ-bearer. In fact, in Christian history, the legend of a man named Christopher was famous, who carried Jesus Christ on his back across the river. This Christopher was remembered in the Christian world as the Christ-bearer. So the sailor Christopher Columbus also dreamt that, like the legendary character of history, Christopher made Jesus Christ cross the river. He will also cross the sinking ship of Christianity. In his view, it was possible by find a new world for the spread of Christianity, where a great Christian empire like the Roman Empire is established. So, dreaming of enriching Europe with gold and a Christian empire, Columbus began to move from court to court in Europe. He went from Italy to Portugal, from Portugal to England. Everywhere he pitched his idea of westward travel in a bid to get investment. Then Europe was in a bad situation. Poverty had already broken its back. There were other reasons, but factually no king or queen agreed to help him. Columbus stayed resolute and did not give up on his idea. In 1485, he arrived in Spain. At that time, Spain was ruled by Ferdinand II and Queen Isabella. In Spain, Columbus spent 7 years trying to meet the Queen, but the Queen did not have an appointment, because the King and Queen were busy expelling the Muslims from Spain. When in 1491, Granada, the last bastion of Muslims in Spain, was near defeat, the Queen invited Columbus to her court. Columbus shared his idea with the Queen, assuring her that it was a super plan that would succeed in any case. He said that the lands he was going to explore, that is, China and Japan, would bring so much gold that Spain would become the richest, and also that the new lands Columbus will go to in Asia, he said, there it will be easy to convert the people and expand a Christian Spanish rule up to there. Queen Isabella partly driven by greed and perhaps by religious sentiments, permitted Columbus for this voyage and announced financial aid for it. Columbus had his first success at the court of Spain. But Queen Isabella did not know that Columbus, whom she believed, was deceiving her. Why only with the Queen? Columbus even duped the sailors and the accompanying crew on the voyage. This deception was such that it endangered the lives of all these people. What was that deception? Why did his companions on the voyage of Columbus plan to kill him? What promises did the Italian sailor make to his crew in a craze to reach Asia? This will be shown in the second episode of History of America you can see here. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe channel.